want to greet you with respect this evening. I would like also to greet the members of the Alumni Association, the Executive Committee in particular, the members of the University Council who might be represented here, all the staff, and all the distinguished alumni who are here tonight, and the future alumni, and then the friends of the university. I greet you all. Sanibonani, Molweni, good evening, Huyenand. It is my sincere pleasure to be here this evening. And thank you for that kind introduction, Dr. Jonas. At my inauguration as Vice Chancellor in April this year, I did admit to the congregation that I consider the responsibility of leading this institution named after such an iconic global leader to be a daunting and a humbling task for me. My firm conviction, and this has been said here tonight, I think twice, is that no person can successfully lead alone. It is only when we work as a collective with all stakeholders and role players that we can truly be successful. Our alumni are very important stakeholders of this university. It is the biggest permanent stakeholder group with a very special interest in the well-being of its alma mater. And so it should be, and this was said by Dr. Jonas already, the president, because ours is a mutually beneficial relationship. It is a symbiotic relationship. The success of our university contributes to your success and pedigree as alumni. And your success in return as alumni contributes to the positioning and success of this university. So we take this relationship very seriously. Our institutional records indicate that Nelson Mandela University and its predecessor institutions has conferred 144,481 qualifications on 108,910 individuals since the establishment of the founding institutions. We have confirmed 144,481 qualifications on 108,910,000 people in this institution. That is a significant number of people who have a connection with the university and can play some role in advancing the interest of Mandela University. On an annual basis, the number of alumni grows with more than 6,000 new members as we confer new qualifications. Since I got here, for 5 years running, I think we have conferred more than 6,000 qualifications each year. Of the total number, close to 60% of our alumni graduated since 2005 after the merger, meaning that we have a large percentage of new generation of young alumni with whom we have to engage going forward. Since assuming duty at the beginning of January 2018, I have embarked on an extensive listening campaign, which started with our internal stakeholders, that is students and staff. The campaign was then extended to other stakeholders, including a small local group of alumni that were here. Not all our alumni has been reached, and I have no illusion that we still need to go around the globe in the corners where our alumni are and meet with them. In May 2018, I participated in the special meeting of the Alumni Association. I want to thank you for that, which offered local alumni the opportunity to share their views on how we can collectively build an even greater university. Through our national and international alumni engagements, and in using structures such as the Alumni Association and online platforms that Mr. Khweswin showed us earlier on, provision is being made for continuous engagement of our alumni. Now, I heard something which I've never heard before, Mr. Matiso, that if you have got a lot of strikes at the university, you are supposed to be seen to be unsuccessful. That the landscape has changed, so that cannot be the mark of success. Some of our very successful vice-chancellors have had their share of unrest in this country because universities have changed. I don't know if any of you have seen the book that Jonathan Johnson has just put out called As If by Fire.
Yes.
The End of a South African University. Soon after my inauguration, I had the privilege of engaging with our alumni in Uganda. We have 218 alumni from Uganda, and were able to interact with more than 60 of them. I was with Paul. Nearly a quarter of those present at the relationship building event had PhDs or were reading towards their PhDs. I am mentioning this specific engagement, colleagues, because our institutional international engagement strategy is going to have a sharper focus in this term on engagement with Africa and African institutions. Our teaching, research and engagement should contribute not only to changing the conditions of our immediate environment, of our region and country, but also we should serve to connect people, build networks, and contribute to knowledge in our continent and globally. This is what we stand for as Nelson Mandela University. Generally, I have greatly appreciated the honest and committed manner in which all stakeholders engaged with us in the listening campaign process. They raised their concerns, even the Alumni Association, when I met them, they raised their concerns, but also they made some very positive proposals. I came out of the listening campaign meetings, and there were many of them, with a strong sense that as Nelson Mandela University, we have a number of administrative and other challenges which we must address. But that also we've got a huge pool of dedicated and committed staff members and students who want to see our university reach its full potential. We're addressing the issues raised in the listening campaign, colleagues. As we go along, we've distilled the key issues for action. Some are relatively straightforward, which we call quick wins, while others are more substantive issues that will require policy and other changes. The relevant managers have been given the responsibility of systematically addressing the issues that emerged. In their respective areas, faculties and other organizational units, they are expected to give feedback and to ensure that staff and students are kept in the loop on follow-up to the many issues that were raised, and we also undertake to keep our alumni informed of what has come out of the listening campaign. As you all know, institutional governance make formal provision for alumni representation in this institution. You as alumni also elect from among your membership people to serve on the highest decision-making body of the university, our council, as well as on the institutional forum, as we have just been doing this evening. The Director of Alumni Relations also serves on various institutional committees to represent the interest of alumni. The alumni sentiments and contributions can thus be shared on various platforms of the university. It would be remiss of me this evening not to acknowledge the role of the Executive Committee of the Alumni Association and their selfless service to the institution, as well as the members who serve on the various institutional structures such as Council and the Institutional Forum. I want to single out Professor Hugh Jeffrey, who recently ended his term on Council representing Alumni Association, and we thank him for his long service to this university as we welcome Mrs. Michelle Mbato, who will be joining Mr. Kwezi Plose as the alumni representatives on Council. The Alumni Association not only plays a very important role as an alumni governance structure, but also through its projects and programs which have been outlined tonight already by both the President and Mr. Chancellor. Last year, in my then capacity as DVCIS, and Dr. Jonas mentioned this, I had the honor of launching the rebranded university shop with the alumni president, Dr. Randall Jonas, and I bought all sorts of things in the shop. I didn't get anything for free. The association established the shop as an important brand development tool to promote the university. And our plan is to support the business to take, namely the shop, to take it to the next level as an additional platform for development of the institutional brand. I must congratulate all those involved in this successful relaunch of the shop. But colleagues know that I've said the shop is very small, and we are a big global brand, so we actually need a bigger shop than what we have. So that's a challenge. Bearing the name, I'm moving now to talk about what this university stands for as I move to conclude. Bearing the name Nelson Mandela University and being the only university in the world with this name, we must be clear about what the university stands for and how we contribute, how we will contribute to a more equal and socially just world through our learning and teaching, our research and engagement. We need to be a university in service of society, committed and positioned indeed to change the world. This was the main theme of my commitment that I made when I accepted this position. This month we're also celebrating the first anniversary of the name change. Our name was changed officially. We launched our new name on the 20th of July 2017, and the start of our Nelson Mandela Centenary commemorations. We are starting our commemorations here at this institution this July. In fact, we are launching the centenary celebrations on Thursday formally. And then for us, that will end in 2019, a year after Mandela's, he would be 101 when we end our centenary celebrations. Our institutional centenary program is academically centered, focusing on public lectures, conferences, seminars, conventions, covering such issues as ethical leadership, youth leadership, social justice, economic development, the role of ICT in development, to name just a few. You would have seen this advertised widely in the media. Stakeholders, including alumni, have been and will continue to be informed of the various institutional activities through an advertising campaign, including via our website and social media platform. I invite all of you to participate actively when you can. The teaching and learning enterprise, which is at the heart of why we exist as a university, needs to confront and address a range of operational and strategic challenges, including the issues of decolonization and Africanization of the curriculum. Our research portfolio needs to ramp up research outputs and innovation and foster a larger cohort of emerging and socially diverse academics that are able to respond to the developmental challenges facing our country and our continent. At this university, as I mentioned several times also in that address in April, we have embraced the philosophy of a humanizing pedagogy, as we believe it addresses, underpins and advances our purpose and the manner in which we cultivate our humanity, the ways in which we are best able to learn, and the critical ways in which we seek to put our learning to use. If we fail to achieve a more equal, socially just society, this university cannot fulfill its mission and purpose. Therefore, it is important that through our research and innovation, that Mandela University produces independent scientific thinkers to help solve pernicious social injustices, to alleviate poverty through transdisciplinary collaborations, and by cutting across academic silos to solve global challenges such as climate change, water, food, and health, and to ensure that our planet and other species survive for generations to come. As our alumni is aware, we have launched last year our 7th campus, the Ocean Sciences Campus. I know that my predecessor spoke to this at length last year, having read the minutes. This is in Summerstrand also. It is the dedicated Ocean Sciences Campus in Africa. I want to invite the alumni that have not visited that entity to go and see it. It is world class. Significant progress has been made in implementing the 5-year Ocean Sciences Strategy. The strategy seeks to unlock the economic potential of the oceans for the benefit of coastal livelihoods while conserving marine biodiversity and ecological integrity. This requires transdisciplinary ways of thinking drawn from various disciplines to tackle scientific and societal challenges that exist at the interface of multiple fields that span the 3 spheres of sustainability, namely the environment, the social sphere, and the economic sphere. The development of our medical school is another of our strategic priorities with which we are seized at the moment as we prepare for the accreditation of our delivery platforms in March next year. If we do not get that accreditation in March next year, we cannot launch the medical school in 2020. So we're seized with this project at the moment. We will enroll the first group of medical students in 2020 in what would be the 10th medical school in this country. We aim to offer a full undergraduate medical degree and further evolve to include medical specialist training immediately thereafter. Establishing a medical program at Mandela University will not only address the pressing need for additional medical doctors that the country faces, but it will also, through a progressive curriculum embedded in a social accountability framework and interprofessional approach that aims to maximize the positive impact on marginalized communities. So we're actually pursuing a developmental approach which is not tried before in this country in our launch of the medical school. Over the past few years, major infrastructural developments have taken place on a number of campuses, as you would have seen, and we're continuing to increase the number of student residencies due to the high demand for student accommodation. We are awaiting, as I speak, the ministerial approval to use the student housing grant that we have been given of 141 million as equity so that we can borrow from the market and then build at scale. We hope to put 800 units here at Summerstrand and 200 at our George campus in the Western Cape. We are committed to enhancing the quality of student life through implementing student-centric programs. We are well aware of the fact that a positive student experience contributes to the affinity level and relationship with the university after graduation. To this end, on the 30th of July this year, we are proud that we'll be launching the very first Nelson Mandela Annual Youth Convention that will focus on issues of education, of leadership, health and wellness, employability, and entrepreneurship. We therefore call on alumni to play an important role in improving our student experience through their own active engagement with their alma mater. And I do want to thank what the alumni is already doing at this university. In addition, we are intensively growing our collaborations and networks, including those with alumni and partner universities and organizations on the continent and globally. Our university, I did announce this, will establish its first hub of convergence this year between the university and community. These hubs will be physical spaces where the university meets community to engage on common platforms to find solutions to practical problems that affect our immediate communities. The hubs will provide an outward focus and will benefit from the intellectual and other assets of the university and the conscious wisdom of the communities that surround us. So we're not going to impose ourselves on communities. We're going to use the wisdom of communities as part of growing our scholarship as well. Of course, all this depends on the university remaining financially sustainable. and viable. I am pleased to say that a number of initiatives around the reimagining of resource mobilization at Mandela are beginning to yield results. The Strategic Resource Mobilization Office, headed by Professor Webb, sitting there, has been established to improve coordination of resource mobilization. The prudent and judicial management of our resources has resulted again in a clean audit for the 2017 financial year. It is, however, important to realize also that the introduction of free higher education for certain categories of students from poor and working class backgrounds, significant and welcome as this is, does not do away with the need for the university to continue to mobilize additional resources to build in its financial sustainability and to fund those students that are not covered by the expanded net. In this regard, again, I like to appreciate the strong support that the university has received in its fundraising efforts from the alumni generally and the Alumni Association in particular. You are excellent role models in this regard, but the time has perhaps come to launch a more coordinated and deliberate alumni giving campaign. Our rationale in this regard is that although we might not have many of the high net worth individuals like some of the longer established universities, we have the numbers so that we can massify the income generated. In particular, we need to grow our investment asset to ensure the medium and long-term sustainability of the university. An alumni giving campaign, and I think this was mentioned already, such as this would contribute significantly to this drive. As you heard at the beginning of my address, we have over 108,000 alumni in this university. If just 10,000 of these donated 50 rands per month, we are looking at making 6 million a year. Can I say that again? Yes. I said, we have at this university 108,000 alumni, but if just 10,000 of those donated 50 rands per month, we are looking at making 6 million a year. I would therefore like to invite the Alumni Association to work with us and the Alumni Relations Office and the Strategic Resource Mobilization Office to develop a project plan aimed at growing our reserves in the manner that I've just described. In conclusion, President, alumni engagement is not only about giving money, but giving goodwill, ambassadorship, making a positive difference in society, sharing your expertise, and helping to create opportunities for others that are less fortunate. I've said before that we must all project common values because others are hoping for what we already have. I would like to repeat this to you tonight. I thank you all for walking the talk with us, and I invite you to continue along the road as we embark on the next exciting phase of our development. Your alma mater is entering a very exciting era in its history, and the reason why individuals choose Nelson Mandela University as their first choice university must become more compelling as we move forward. You all have your own reasons for having chosen our university as your preferred institution, and we need to build on your strengths and differentiating characteristics with your support. Collectively, we must commit ourselves to changing the world. Thank you very much.